afternoon. Um, so, I will just do an introduction of myself first, and then we'll talk about the future of work. I will try as much as possible to make it short and not waste anybody's time, because I'm sure we are all hungry and would like to just go home, if you're hungry like me at this point. But I will try and make it short. And for most of the time during this session, I most likely will be asking questions. So I would expect a little bit more interaction with everyone. So it's not like I'm coming to give a lecture or a speech. That's not the intention. And it's not because I'm not speaking to a team of, or a room filled with interior designers and architects. It will be nice to see what your view in terms of this topic is, get that, and then we can discuss on what the future of work is. I hope that's fine with everyone. Can I get a response? Because thank you. So my name is Tomi Bamgbelu. I'm the creative director of Spazio Ideale. Spazio Ideale is an interior design firm, full service, multidisciplinary. I have a background in computer science, so I actually did study computer science at first. Then I threw my certificate under the bed after I was done, and then went to Italy to study interior design. So in a way, I've been able to understand what people in tech need, because that is technically my background. I also did work in tech. I worked with the stock exchange with their new trading portal. That's if you have anything about the stock exchange. I also did work with Ericsson, and I was on the multi-mediation team as a service engineer. So yes, I did work in tech for some time, and then left tech to start interior design. So I have a fair background of both spaces and how it merges. And over time, we've worked with tech companies or commercial spaces to improve the space and how their space works for them. So we've worked with companies such as Paystack. Some of them you know, some of them you might not know, but Paystack, Kuda, Branch, Max.ng, SoFresh, if you know SoFresh, the new design, Williams HMO, Sterling Bank, Heritage Bank, etc. Those are the people we've worked with. And like I said, I'm talking on the future of work. So my first question, I know this is not an exam or a test, so there are no wrong answers. My first question is, what do we think the future of work is? And why is it even important in the first place? Why are people talking about it? Does anyone want to try? So I have someone at the back.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cheryl, and I work with P1 Group. It's a real estate network marketing company in Lekki, Lagos. The future of work, I think, is when people have to work from home as opposed to waking up every morning and going to work, where they can use their systems to do things they would do at the office, they can do it from home.
Thank you. I have someone here also. Please, let's give her a round of applause. She was bold enough to actually talk. There's someone here in front who would also like to comment. And I'm just taking, that's the last one I'm taking. But I have more questions.
Hello, everybody. I'm Juliana Demi. So I feel the future of work, is how work gets done in the next century. The changes, the new things that are going to come in, the new improvements and the failures, the new things that are going to come in, and the improvements that are going to come in the next decade and over the years. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the two speakers actually did give a good insight into what the future of work is. I like what the First Lady said when she said, it's probably sort of an hybrid model where people don't have to do a 9 to 5 in a physical workspace. That means you have to commute to work, to a physical building to work, but then you can work from anywhere. That is part of the future of work. And then the other lady also talked about it being the future in terms of where are we going in the next century. And that's important. But then the question is, why is it even important? Why are we talking about it in the first place? I'm sure people have thrown the future of work around in conversations. This is probably not the first time you're hearing it. So why is it important? From an interior design perspective and also from understanding tech in terms of perspective, it is important because it helps organizations, and this technically is for like maybe the HR people or CEOs, and even for if you are an employee, for example. It helps organizations prepare, right, for the changing workforce. So our parents, for example, had a different sort of workplace than what our grandparents did. It's different from what the millennials think workspace is. It is totally different from what the Gen Z expect in terms of a workspace. As generations evolve, their needs and what they expect change. And that's the reason why we have to have that discussion. So if organizations, for example, need to be in the forefront of whatever it is they do, they need to understand that the workforce they are bringing into the organization demand different from them, demand a different workspace. They want a workspace that is different. That's why the conversation is important in the first place. Basically, so organizations talk about this because they want to be forward-thinking, they want to attract the best talent, for example, etc., etc. I'll talk about how work has evolved. So I'm going to skip this 20th century workplace because this is not an architectural class or interior design class, so just forget about it. But let's do pre-COVID and then talk about after COVID. Pre-COVID, most of the workspaces we've had has been, I don't know, let me use this as a question. Can anyone describe how work was pre-COVID? And I don't want hybrid again. And don't steal my answers. Does anybody want to talk? Pre-COVID, was anybody working in an organization pre-COVID? Anyone here that would like to talk? Okay, it seems like it's a technical question I'm asking, and people are like, I don't want to make a mistake and just get buzzbuzz, but it's fine, I'll move on. Oh, I have someone that wants to answer. Thank you.
Hi, so pre-COVID was good. You have to wake up very early because you're in Lagos. And you have to get to work before 8. And it was not easy because by the time you get to work, you'll be tired. And then, so I was working at a manufacturing firm, so you have to wait till like 5 p.m. Then you close, then you try to rush home, then you face the traffic again.
Yeah. So thank you. That is actually that's specific to even Lagos, which we'll talk about, because even work in different parts of the country or the world differs. Lagos is unique because going to work or commuting to work, there is endless traffic. Commuting back to your place, there is endless. So the future of work is good for Lagos because it would skip that entire commuting part of it, right? Having the hybrid will reduce that commuting, you going all the way to a physical space to work. Anyway, prior to that, most organizations pre-COVID were already doing creative spaces. Aside from very few specific industries, like she mentioned, manufacturing, which is yet to evolve in the future of work, and other places like, when I say manufacturing, it could be anything, even Amazon in terms of their warehouses and stuff, maybe not in the forefront of the future of work, for example. However, most organizations were having more creative spaces, more flexible spaces. You can see that in terms of the way Paystack, for example, did their space, which was pre-COVID, right? I don't know if anybody has seen the Paystack space. If you haven't, you could go to our stand and see what the Paystack space looks like. Pre-COVID, people were doing flexible spaces, creative spaces, outside in, a space that would allow an employee to live, work, and play. So a space where you come, you work. But it's a space where when you come, you work, and you're tired, you can go somewhere and nap, right? And the space when you want to gist with your friends, you can go somewhere and gist with people. So that was pre-COVID. Now, post-COVID or today, in my opinion, the future of work is now driven by choice. So people now want choice. I want to choose if I'm going to the office today or not. I want to choose if I want to work from the beach or an island in Mauritius or be in Nigeria and I'm working or not. I want to make that choice. That's one of the drivers of the future of work going forward. And that's what organizations need to know. Aside that, there are other things like hybrid, because hybrid is actually also predicated on choice. People are looking for inclusivity, experience, trust, purpose, etc., etc. But in terms of hybrid, and I'll try and make it short, in terms of hybrid model, one of the things that One of these things that's influencing the change, by the way, for me to mention, is, like I said, the new generation. So the Gen Z, which is very good, they are demanding more, and you should demand more if you are Gen Z, from employers. Don't just take whatever it is that is being dished out. So they are demanding more from employers and saying, I want work to have meaning. I don't just want to work and just be another statistic. That I want work to have meaning, for example. Anyway, that's that on that. So we'll move to the next slide. This slide just talks about, in terms of the hybrid model, what people are doing to bring it together. So in the industry like interior design, now they're trying to create experiences where people can actually work from home. This is a design by Spazio, and you could see it is right there in terms of, people, if they want to work from home, what enables them to work best? So what desk works best? So we did a research and then asked people and said, what would you want in terms of your work desk? How would you want your workspace to be? If you're working from home, for example, and then try and bring that, so that nice office, that nice space stack office that you would most likely miss, how can you bring that home? So that's one of the things we thought about and then said, okay, let's create a work from home kit for people. And that's part of the hybrid model. However, moving to the next slide, and now this talks about the future of work itself and what I personally, and as an organization, think how work is evolving. The First Lady, if you remember, said hybrid model, and I said it is valid. The hybrid model is valid. You want to work from the office, you want to work from home. But what are people really looking for? And technically, there are 3 pillars. This is new, but based on research, there are 3 pillars that organizations need to understand: people, space, and community. And then is, how do these 3 pillars interact with each other? Between people and space, that's your employees and the space that they have. People want meaningful experiences. So they want a space that can help them engage with another, or a space that would help with focused work, or a space that creates flexibility, or is forward thinking, or a space that helps, that when you go there, it helps you talk to someone or interact with someone. You want that sort of space, a space that is creative, not rigid. So between people and space, people want a space that will give them meaningful experience. The end result of the office space now is that people want a space that would give them an experience. An experience is when you go in there, you're happy. You're happy about work. You're happy because you're going to maybe see a friend, or because the space is so nice, you're productive. So on that part, they want meaningful experience. Between space and community, people are looking for a space that, same thing in terms of experience, that will sort of breed in a community. And for that, would advise companies to, for example, create a space that is more like a campus, a space that it is not just work that is there, sort of like a multi-use space in your space. And you can even see this technically in the Paystack office and LaserPay's office. LaserPay is another company we've worked with, and those were pillars they worked with, where in the space they are saying, okay, it's not just work, I can live in that space. It's very close to a restaurant, or there is a sports complex just beside me. Like the Paystack office, for example, has a football pitch right in there. They have a games lounge right there. Everything is sort of interconnected. It is not just workspace. And that's what people are looking for in terms of that. And most importantly, what people now need to know, especially organizations, is that between people and community, what employees are looking for is purpose, and that's what's different. So they want work, especially the Gen Z, to have meaning. It means that the thing I'm doing today, whatever it is I'm doing on my system, how does it affect the community? How does it affect Nigerian politics, for example? How is our work changing lives? How is it changing things? How does it affect sickle cell? How does it affect this? And for this, we expect that organizations focus on drivers, things that can engage their employees to drive the change that they want to do. And that's between those. And by the way, this is a short version of it, of everything I've been trying to say. I'll try to compress it. It's much more detailed than how I have put it. But basically, in a short form, That's how the future of work will evolve. So it's not necessarily just hybrid space. Maybe I'm working from the office or I'm working from home. No, it includes, when I'm at the office, I want my space to be sort of like a campus where there's a place where I can play football just down the corner, or there's a restaurant down the corner, or while I'm at work, there is purpose in the work that I do. The work that I do affects this particular thing or this particular cause. It affects maybe the Sickle Cell Foundation, or it affects Nigerian politics, or it's changing the way the world is going to be in the future. It's part of the future of work. There's also the part where the way the space is designed also plays its role. Basically, at the end of the day, I'll say that the future of work is heavily relied on choice and people wanting options. For most part, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach, and that organizations or people should do what is best for them. So it is not what the pay staff do, then I want to do it, or what the CUDA do, then I want to do it. No. Even though the pillars are the same, every organization is different. Just the same way everyone is different. What I want to eat this afternoon is different from what you would want to eat this afternoon. It's possible that it might be the same, but if we take a consensus around everyone, it will be different. So the spaces need to be different to fit each person. People want personalization. Anyway, that's the end of my talk. And I hope you guys have a PhD in interior design now at the end of all of this, but that's all.